Dear students, greetings of the day. Today we will going to study about hospitality, its origin and growth. Throughout the world they were known by different names such as dharamshalas and sarai in India, ryukans in Japan, paradors in Spain, pousadas in Portugal, coffee house in America, taverns and inns in Europe, cabarets and hostelries in France, mansions and hospital in Switzerland, fatnal in Greece and relay house in China. In the 3rd century AD, Roman Empire developed an extensive system of brick-paved roads throughout Europe and Asia Minor. Small roadside lodges were constructed due to increase in the road transport. During the Industrial Revolution in 1700s, the Europeans began to combine food and beverage service with lodging. No attention was given to sanitation and beds as well as rooms had to be shared with other travelers. These early European inns were unsuitable for aristocrats. To accommodate wealthy travelers, luxurious structures were erected. These offered private rooms, individual sanitation and all comforts of a European castle. These elegant new establishments later adopted the French name for mansion, hotel. The rates they charged were very high and well beyond the means of common citizens. Evolution and growth of hotel industry in the world. The invention of the currency and the wheel sometime in the 5th century BC is regarded as the two main factors that led to the emergence of innkeeping and hospitality as a commercial activity. While Europe can safely be regarded as the cradle of organized hotel business, it is in the American continent that one sees the evolution of the modern hotel industry over the past century. From the rudimentary ancient inns to the present-day state-of-the-art establishments that provide everything under the sun to the modern traveler, the hotel industry has come a long way. The origin and growth of the hotel industry in the world can be broadly studied under the following periods. Ancient era. It is believed that inns were originated in 6th century BC, but the real beginning of inn in the history goes back to 12th century, though existence of the oldest sheltering system was seen in Pompeii, South Italy in 79 AD. Rome was considered holy place and epicenter of loyalty to all religious people in Europe. For such pilgrimage, the destination to Rome had gradually been increased, and there was a great need of shelter for such people who were traveling all across and reaching there to visit the holy place. Hence, the earlier recorded evidence of the hospitality facilities in Europe dates back to 500 BC. Ancient cities, such as Corinth in Greece, had a substantial number of establishments that offered food and drink as well as beds to travelers. The inns of the biblical era were of primitive type, offering a cot or bench in the corner of a room and at times, even a stable. Travelers used to stay in a large hall. privacy and personal sanitation were non-existent. In the 3rd century AD, numerous lodging premises mushroomed along the extensive network of brick-paved roads throughout Europe and Minor Asia, part of Asia adjoining Europe. The lodging houses were known as mansions during that time. These conditions prevailed for several hundred years, till the Industrial Revolution in England led to the development of railways and steamships, making travelling more efficient, comfortable and faster. The Industrial Revolution also brought about a shift in the focus of travel that became more business-oriented than educational or social. Innkeeping was now changed into commercial enterprise providing room, food and entertainment for travelers. Innkeepers earned profit from providing lodging and catering services to different travelers. And by the 16th century this concept was developed. The real beginning of the semi-modern lodging industry may be traced back to 1640 AD when the first passenger-carrying state coach began to operate in England and similarly in other areas of Europe, and an organized hotel keeping as we see it today was taken up by emerging nations of Europe, especially Switzerland. In early England, inns and taverns were normally considered finer establishment and were reserved for the nobility and clergy. Similarly, in Switzerland the chalets, small cottage, which were patronized by the aristocrats, took the shape of hotel that provided a variety of services. Between 1750 and 1825, inns in Britain gained the reputation of being the finest hospitality establishment. Grand Tour, the second half of the 18th century, prior to the French Revolution, 1789–99, is referred as the golden era of travel as the popularity of the Grand Tour gave a big push to the hotel industry. In those days, a grand tour of the European continent constituted an indispensable element of the education of sons of wealthy families in Britain. As this tour often lasted several years, it was a good business opportunity for people in the prominent cities of France, Italy, Germany, Austria, Switzerland and Ireland to establish lodging, transportation and recreation facilities. Far-sighted entrepreneurs, who smelt money in the exercise, enveloped the skills of hospitality and pioneered the modern hotel industry. Prominent among the hotels that emerged during this period were Dolder Brand in Zurich, the Imperial in Vienna. In 1841, a simple cabinet maker, Thomas Cook organized a rail tour from Leicester to Loughborough and immortalized himself as the world's first tour operator. Modern era, Industrial Revolution in England in the mid-18th century was considered to be the period of development of modern tourism, Several new inventions and changes were seen on the pages of world history like rail transport, sea etc. With the invention of transport, it became easy for people to travel from one place to another, but with the two world wars, especially the World War II, leads to toll on the growth of hospitality industry. The massive destruction caused by the war leading to heavy economic depression proved to be a major setback for the travel business. That is why European countries shows a slow growth of hotel industry after World War II. But with the development of aircrafts and commercial passenger flights encouraged travel across the globe, accelerated the growth of hotel industry. Now it is the American business who started investing in the growth of hotel industry and literally changing the fact of the hospitality industry with their innovative ideas and aggressive marketing skills. The opening of the City Hotel in New York in 1794 marked the beginning of present-day hotel industry, which was giant building with 73 rooms. Before the establishment of City Hotel, lodging facilities in the American continent were based on the footprints of European-style taverns or inns. The City Hotel, however, triggered a rise and new era of hotels among the American hoteliers, resulting in the construction of large hotels like Coffee House in Boston and the Second City Hotel in Baltimore, Mansion House in Philadelphia, etc. The next in name was the Tremont House of Boughton refers another landmark in the development of hotel industry, as it is considered to be first luxury hotel is with 170 rooms, and it was the first to provide locks, indoor plumbing, running water and bathing facilities, besides providing a bowl pitcher with free soaps in its room. It was also the first to provide front office services like bellboy and reception. Throughout the 19th century there remained a contest among the hotel that is to build better, larger and most luxurious hotels continued. Several other hotels came into existence like the Grand Pacific, the Palmer House, and the Sherman House in Chicago, as well as the Palace with 800 rooms in San Francisco were built. Another landmark hotel was built in 1908. It was the first business hotel. The Statler Hotel in Buffalo, New York was a beautiful 450 rooms magnificent multi-storied property, was pioneer in many. It provided attached bathroom with hot and cold running water in each room, electric lamp on the desk, and radio in each room. The year of 1930s again saw the Great Depression in the liquidity of most of the hotels in America. The hotel industry then continued to show a slow and steady growth in around 1940 and 1950 with new properties and changes coming in the hotels. The increase in automobile travel in around 1950 led to the rise of motor hotels or motels, a new category in the hotel industry. Evolution and growth of hotel industry in India. In India, the concept of shelter for travelers is not new. In fact, it is as old as it's recorded in history, though the origin of hotel industry in India cannot be fixed into particular time frame, as the historical records are replete with mention of Viharas, Dharamshalas, Sarais, Muzaffarkhanas, etc., because as per the sources it has started showing its marks from during Indus Valley civilization and Vedic era. It is believed that in older days people used to travel mainly for pilgrimage and trade. The concept of Char Dham, visiting the religious places located in all four corners of India, or all the religious places in India, are the important indicators of the significance according to pilgrimage by our ancestors. Even ancient texts and literature, and also in Hindu mythology, there are many references to travel and the provision of accommodation facilities for traveling pilgrimages and traders by the authorities of those days. Ancient India was called as Bird of the Gold, as it was well known for its richness in silk, spices, gemstones and gold, and records of famous travelers have shown that several rulers have got attracted and have established trading relations with different countries. Thus, movement of people for both political and pilgrimage stressed the need for better and improved facilities to cater to the varied needs of the various classes of the society. In India, development of lodging and catering can also be attributed also to the legacy left by people belonging to different cultures and ethnic groups who have ruled her. Development of hotels in India as we see it today is chiefly due to the British, who had introduced hotels and restaurants similar to those found in Europe. With the revolution in the modes of transport leading to the evolution of hotel industry in the world, development is seen in India also, which is divided into three periods/era: ancient era or medieval era. The beginning of hospitality sector in India starts with the belief of Atithi Devo Bhava, guest is God. While it is not clear that when hospitality emerged in as commercial activity in India, there are proofs of accommodation facilities for travelers and guests, though not as organized as we see it today. The ancient Buddhist monks were probably the first to institutionalize the concept of a shelter in India. The cave temples scattered all over the southwestern region of India have both a chaitya, sanctuary, for worship and prayer, and a vihara, monastery. These monks, although living in their quiet surroundings, away from towns and villages, were nevertheless mindful of the needs of travelers and pilgrims who found shelter and food at these monasteries. It is interesting to note that these monasteries are located on the ancient trade routes between important deities of the region. It is gathered from some inscriptions that merchants gave liberal donations for the construction and maintenance of these establishments. Mere charity was obviously not the motivation in these displays of generosity. The trader traveled with their merchandise and money on these routes, and the viharas were their hotels. In the medieval period, this ancient institution gradually assumed a more secular character. Although religious centers invariably had dharamshalas and muzaffarkhanas attached to them, the caravanserai appeared as an exclusive traveler's lodge with an anbai or cook attached with it. With the passage of time and with increase in movement of people from one to another, several lodging houses were built. In India, lodging houses were known as dharamshala, religion house, school, which were taken care by local resident and were built in and around village chapels. which served as the meeting ground for villagers to plan and discuss various social welfare and development measures. These becomes the places of lodging as travelers started putting up camp there due to safety reasons. Gradually, with the help of Zamindars and other influential people, permanent structure of Dharamshala were built for the travelers. Hence, they were provided with safe and secure place to relax and spend the night. In the medieval period between 11th and 13th centuries, many sarai and muzaffar-khanas were built primarily as the resting place for the travelers, while slowly and gradually, the medieval period in the ancient institution gradually assumed a more secular character. Although religious centers invariably had Dharamshala and muzaffar-khanas attached to them, the caravanserai appeared as an exclusive travelers' lodge with a nanbai or cook attached with it. Besides that, Sher Shah Suri, the Afghan emperor and the builder of the Grand Trunk Road, is credited with having built caravanserais at regular intervals all along this highway, creating favorable conditions for commerce and travel. However, he was not alone in this venture. The Slav or Mameluke dynasty and later the Mughals built the brick-paved roads which make travel easy and thus opened sarais all over their empire. Later kings, rajas, nawabs, rich businessmen and philanthropists built sarais, making travel less painful. With the expansion of commerce, traveling became profitable, and with it emerged the business of providing comfortable shelter and good food to the growing number of travelers. Colonial era. At approximately the same time, the inn was the western counterpart of India's sarais. The sarais in India, like inns in Europe or the stagecoach stations in the USA of the 18th and 19th centuries, stood all along the well-traveled routes. They provided food and shelter to the travelers and fodder to their horses. The amenities these early hotels offered would seem to us to be primitive, but they conformed to the lifestyle of that age. With the passage of time, the age-old institution of the sarai or the inn adapted itself to the ever-changing and constantly growing requirements of the market and has evolved into the modern hotel.